Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and today I'm in another little C-segment EV. This is the BYD Dolphin. And this perhaps is the car that MG need to be most worried about. But before we get into this video, I want to do a little tiny bit of housekeeping and just say that if you've come to this video to announce that you don't like EVs and you're going to unsubscribe because I'm reviewing another EV and I'm a shill for the Chinese government and all this kind of stuff, please don't. This is a car review. This is not paid for. They've only given me a tuna sandwich and a small pastry and a cup of coffee. That's the only payment I've had from BYD. I've paid my own diesel to come and drive this car today. I'm just here to objectively look at this car. If you're looking for a small electric hatchback, this could influence your opinion. Please don't unsubscribe because I'm doing this. I will go back to driving 1960s Austins in the next couple of days. There's more than one kind of car out there. This is just being open-minded. Please don't unsubscribe. Please don't down-like, because I know a lot of people do that every time I do an electric car. Please don't. Right, getting back to the review. Now, the headline figures, if you like. This is C-segment, so it's hitting the Astra Focus kind of market. It's available in 4 trim levels, 3 power levels and 2 battery sizes. It starts at 26,195 and that's for the basic 93 horsepower active, and goes up to 31,695 and that's for the slightly more exciting 201 horsepower design. In between we've got the Boost and the Comfort, and the Boost is 174 horsepower. And of course, as no one actually pays cash these days, PCP deals are currently £269 down and $269 a month for a Comfort, or $289 for a design. Now there are 2 battery pack sizes. This one has the larger 60.4 kilowatt hour pack, which gives you 265 miles, which for a car this small is more than, well, don't say acceptable, it's really quite good. There's also a smaller 44 kilowatt hour battery pack, which depending on your motor configuration, the power output obviously, gives you either 193 or 211 miles. So not bad though. If you're just literally taking the car to the shops and back and charging it home overnight, that will probably do you fine. BYD used their chassis integral Blade LFP battery in the Dolphin. Active and Boost, with the smaller 44.9 kilowatt hour batteries, have 65 kilowatt charging, so 10 to 80% charge takes 38 minutes. Comfort and Design, with the bigger 60.4 kilowatt hour, have 88 kilowatt charging, so 10 to 80% takes 40 minutes. Now I should probably mention the slightly unusual name. Like its bigger brother, the Seal, this uses what they're calling oceanic design language, and it is meant from the side to represent a leaping dolphin. I'm not 100% sure that it actually does, but you know, good on them for having a crack. Externally, it's not an unattractive car. C-segment cars tend not to be the most exciting looking things, and this has got a few nice little design touches as we look around the outside, a few little nice little add-ons. The black plastic bits though do look a little bit shiny plastic that might not survive too long without many little hairline scratches and things if you take it through Sainsbury's car wash once too often. They offer a whole 6 paint colours. If you are buying one of these, please choose coral pink or amethyst purple. We need less boring colours on the road. On the inside though, it is a lot more interesting. We've got a very unusual T-shelf area. First we've got like a textured plasticky thing up here, which is very hard plastic, and we've got its eyeball vents, 4 of them across the thing. But up there is a big wavy, I guess like the sea, kind of a pattern going on in the top of the dashboard, very unusual. It's dead space anyway, so you might as well make it look interesting. Underneath we've got this quite Mercedes-y kind of swoopy black plastic thing, but again it's piano black, which looks great in the dealership and the photos, but honestly give it 37 seconds in the real world, you've got dust, you've got fingerprints, it scratches, it's terrible stuff. Underneath this we've got this slightly unusual kind of padded matte black area, which is, well, a bit different really. It's a soft vinyl-y type substance. Feels quite interesting. And beneath that, going further down still, we've got this, well, it looks like it's going to be a fabric, but it is actually a hard textured plastic which looks like a linen all across the doors, all across the glove box. Interesting design, it looks good. The way they get these cars cheap is to not use expensive materials, and so although this does look really quite interesting, mostly apart from this bit, which does feel quite nice, it doesn't feel amazing to touch. Underneath the big screen, I know a lot of you are going to hate the screen. I'm not a fan of the screen either. We have got this little tray area. It's not inductive charging, it's just mobile phone size, nothing else. But beneath that, we've got this curious little drum roll. of oil drums, of controls. We've got our volume for the radio just there, which is quite a cool idea. You can turn your screen off and on with that. Ventilation controls are on here as well, which I'm a huge fan of. I detest ventilation controls on the screen. These actually rock up and down, quite unusual. And very unusually, we've got our drive mode controller just here. And there's a P button hidden on the end of it as well. So that's all quite interesting. We've also got a coverable big cubby just there, a little cubby just there, and a huge area underneath, which, interestingly, we've got a emergency smash the window pen clipped in the back of that cubby area, so I'm not sure what they're expecting the standard of their buying public to be. The doors are quite interestingly styled. We've got this scalloped area at the top with more of this kind of slightly soft touch plastic, a little tweeter there, big curvy door handle, and a big door pocket, so it's quite practical, quite comfortable. Now this isn't an SUV, it's not even really a crossover, but it is quite narrow and quite tall. So you do feel you're sitting very, very high up. We've got electric seats in this thing, so you can smidge yourself into whatever position you want to be in. They do feel like you're sitting quite high up in the car, but they are actually very comfortable. So like the party piece and the bigger seal, we do have the same party piece here in that the big screen will actually rotate. I'm not quite sure what the benefit of that is. I'm sure someone at BYD thought it was incredibly useful and engineered probably quite an expensive motor and system into making that work. I don't know. I don't know. It is big and bright and clear. There's a lot of stuff on this screen. Thankfully, you do have the actual physical controls for a bunch of other things, because that is wearingly annoying having to use the screen for basics like volume. That really is just too much. Having said that, this little rocker control here for the ventilation I can see becoming a little bit annoying, because it's, yeah, I think that would just bother me. That would make me cross after not that long of a time, to be perfectly honest, and you would resort to using the screen. The thing with screens though, I find, not just BYD, all car manufacturers, not every time I touch it does it react, and that can be incredibly frustrating, and if it's a thing that's distracting you from driving, it's actually a little bit dangerous. So yes, that is a big and clear screen just there in centre. In front of the driver you've got a really tacked on little screen as well. Again, like on the Seal, it does feel a little bit like it's been tacked in place. It is smaller than the Seal screen. It's only a single display area rather than a double display. It does have more of an integrated feel. It's more curvaceous than the very square angular one in the Seal. Now because this is a new car, and because all cars are now being mandated with this, it does have the beepy thing, so if you stray over the speed limit, it will start blimping at you, which is really, really annoying. To drive, it's actually quite pleasant. It's obviously very, very quiet. 0 to 60 is 7 seconds, which you might think, oh, that's not that fast for an electric car, but it's an inexpensive family hatchback, which, you know, is designed for tootling down the shops in. It's not meant to be a rocket ship. 0 to 60 in 7 was like really good hot hatch territory 10 years ago, so having it in a budget family C-segment car is actually quite impressive if you think about it. The ride, it's not bad. It is soaking up these bumps on the road quite well. I can feel the lane keep assist starting to get a bit irritating right now, because it is just niggling on the steering wheel as I'm getting too close to the lines for it. So I need to work out how you turn that off, because that's very annoying. You can feel the height of it. The battery, of course, is underneath the car, so we've got fairly high floors in the thing, but it does mean, though, that the height of it, it's got a little bit of a wiggle to it, so it doesn't feel like a real sports car. The brakes are very good as well. It's actually got disc brakes all around. A lot of EVs, because of the regen braking, only stick drums on the brake, but I did notice this had discs behind the alloys in the back of the car as well. It does mean the brakes are incredibly sharp. The first time you stop in this thing, you do tend to nosedive like you're in an old Citroen. The steering wheel is big and chunky, feels very nice. The back seat area is surprisingly roomy, I guess because it's got such a high roofline. That certainly helps things. Why are you beeping? And the boot, although the actual sort of footprint area isn't that huge, it is very, very tall. It does have a false bottom in it as well, so you can take that out and make it very deep indeed, a bit like on a Ford Puma. In total, it has 345 litres of boot space, and of course the rear seats fold 60-40. The Dolphin weighs between 1,506 and 1,658 kilograms depending on spec, and is 4.29 metres long, 1.57 metres tall, and a smidge under 2 metres wide. The steering has actually quite a nice weight to it. The visibility is actually really rather good. Although it's quite a tall car, the actual glass area isn't that tall, so you've got quite a high shoulder line to look out over. And the windscreen is very tall, but very, very sharply angled, so you've not got a huge area to look out of, but you do have these big quarter lights down there in the front in the A-posts, so you can actually see quite a good way around you. And of course, when you come to manoeuvre, you've got that incredible all-round backup camera, and it even does a clever kind of forward view of the car if you're manoeuvring into a space using the top-down cameras. It's quite clever, really. I was trying to be very positive about the fact we have got extra controls for the volume and things down here, but a few minutes into this drive, I'm already hating the fact every time I want to change the temperature or the fan or anything, I've got to go into a menu. That really just pisses me off. That really annoys me. Sorry BYD, but then every manufacturer is doing it, and yet no one likes it. No one, I've never met anyone who actually likes using the screen for the volume and temperature controls. Manufacturers, please stop that. So this is the BYD Dolphin. If you're looking for a Focus Astra kind of size electric family car, this could be the thing to look at. It is absolutely packed with technology, loads of good features, feels pretty well screwed together, and the range is really quite impressive if you go for the larger battery. Some of the materials do feel a bit cheap and nasty, but that is the trade-off for paying around 30 grand or less for an EV car these days. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe. If you haven't, keep it to yourself. I don't care. And I'll see you again next time driving something completely different. Oh, I love that Series Land Rover.